Good evening and welcome. Let's take a look at our top story. Today is day one of India's biggest repatriation mission. Over the course of the next week, India will bring back more than 14,000 Indian nationals who are stuck in foreign countries due to travel restrictions imposed to curb the COVID-19 outbreak. The first batch of arrivals today are from the United Arab Emirates. The visuals on your screens are of people who are at the Dubai airport undergoing screening and necessary protocols before boarding the flights. Flights from Abu Dhabi and Dubai will be carrying 200 passengers each to Kochi and Kozhikode, respectively. A total of 750 passengers will be arriving from Singapore, Thailand and the Philippines. "300 Indian nationals from the United States will land in the San Francisco-Mumbai-Hyderabad flight. 2 flights scheduled to arrive today have been delayed. The Riyadh-Kozhikode flight will arrive tomorrow, while the Doha-Kochi flight will land on the 9th of May. Now, that is the schedule for day one of the Vande Bharat mission, which involves India's national carrier, Air India. Upon arrival, all passengers will be asked to download the Indian government's eioqL Setu app. After a medical screening, they will be placed under a 14-day mandatory quarantine. At the end of the 14-day quarantine period, all evacuees will be tested for COVID-19. Now, we are being joined by our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, for more on this. Good evening to you, Siddhant. What is the latest update you have on this huge mission by the Indian government to bring back close to 14,000 Indian nationals?
Well, Alison, the first flight bringing the Indians who have been stranded in UAE will be leaving Abu Dhabi shortly in just like 15 to 20 minutes. The boarding has started and it will reach the southern Indian state of Kerala. We know that it is not only India's biggest repatriation mission, but also the world's largest repatriation mission, and it is expected to continue for quite a few months, expected to continue for 2 to 4 months. But by and large, we know that a lot of people have registered across the world, from New Zealand to Japan to Gulf to even Somalia, where there are 5 Indian nationals who are stranded, and these stranded Indians have requested the government that they should be repatriated. But talking about the details, we know that 14,800 people are expected to come to India in next 1 week alone via 64 flights from 12 countries, and most of these countries are Gulf countries. Approximately 6 Gulf countries will contribute a major share of the Indian citizens who are coming back. We know that the numbers of Indians, especially blue-collar workers living in Gulf, is also high, and these people have been calling the Indian government that they should be repatriated. Most of these people have lost their jobs, and that is why they're keen to be brought back. But even as the air repatriation efforts have started today, from tomorrow, we know it is through the Indian Navy's Samudra Setu operation, through which the Indian nationals stranded in Maldives will be brought back to India, specifically in Kochi and Tuticorin. We know that the Indian envoy to Maldives has spoken to WION, and he has talked about that there will be more such repatriation efforts by the Indian government, especially focusing on women and people who have lost their jobs. But globally, if we know that last few weeks and months since India entered lockdown and total ban on transportation, air transportation and inward movement of international flights started, we know the Indian citizens have been stranded. We know the plight of them. They have been uploading videos how desperate their situation has been, and also the Indian missions have been saying that they are reaching out to these stranded Indian nationals when it comes to the food, whether it comes to accommodation. So it has been a precarious past few weeks, and with the opening or announcement of this mega repatriation efforts, we do expect that there can be ease in problem for these Indian nationals. Most of these Indian nationals have been on a short-term visa, or they have been tourists to these countries when India announced its lockdown and they were stranded.
Siddhant, thank you very much for that update. That's our diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, bringing us the latest on India's repatriation of its nationals from abroad.